Hey, friends. It's Mark and Alicia here.
With the holiday season fast approaching, we wanted to tell you to be the king of gift giving by giving the gift of flavor.
Yeah. Give your friends and family El Yucateco hot sauce. El Yucateco is the king of flavor. They have 5 habanero-based sauces: red, green, Caribbean, Black Label Reserve, and triple extra hot.
They have a jalapeno hot sauce and chipotle hot sauce, too.
Just head on over to shopelucateco.com, where you can create your own custom 6-pack of their flavors, or maybe grab a 12-pack or 2.
Plus, they have all kinds of cool swag, like socks, hats, and more.
Go to shopelucateco.com and use our code Paranormal Punchers to save 10% off your entire order. Paranormal Punchers is part of the Podbelly Network. Go to podbelly.com for more great podcasts. Hey, friends. Welcome to another episode of Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
I'm Dave.
All right. Dave and Nash are on Skype. You know, I like being all in the same room, but sometimes you can't make it happen. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
I'm beat. It's been a busy weekend.
Yeah, I bet. Getting ready for your garage project.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be able to sit down for a little bit and take a relax.
Right.
How's the garage thing coming along?
Well, good. I had to completely take off and demo and prep the deck to get basically thrown away. I had to finish cutting up a tree, take the wood, cut it up. Mow the grass, rake the leaves, all that good stuff. So,
well, I'm glad. It sounds like it, but I'm glad you could join us for this episode. And I know everybody listening did not tune in to hear about garage builds with Nash.
That's right. Garage punchers.
You turned in to hear stuff about the paranormal. Why am I sounding like that? On this episode, we're going to talk about the West Virginia State Penitentiary. Lish, give us a teaser on that.
Sure. It was operated from 1876 to 1995 and is considered to be one of the most haunted prisons in all of the U.S. today.
All right. See, that's good.
Okay.
It's a good teaser. And we got some listener feedback. We got some listener stories. So why don't we get this project rolling with something new we're going to try here. It's called It Came from Reddit. All right, so I saw this post from Jazzapillar, and I reached out, and she said that we can definitely talk about it. Subject, I was on a walk, and I saw a tall, about 8 or 9 feet tall, black, lanky, almost stick-like creature running by really quickly. And
It's like going for a jog?
Well, they can move fast in the jog space. Here's what she said. Here's her little story. I am unsure of what I saw. I started believing I was crazy. I was walking my dog. It was about 8 p.m. And before we got to the street that we crossed to get to her favorite spot, I saw this creature running by really quickly. It was really tall and looked black, almost pitch black, but I saw some gray on it. It was running so fast, and its limbs were so long and lanky. I've seen it about 2 times, exactly the same way. And as soon as it gets to the other side of the street, it just disappears. About 3 weeks later, my sister was visiting and came with me on a walk. And she saw that creature too. At first, I said nothing. But when we got to my house, she described exactly how I saw it. I'm not really sure what it was. A ghost? A cryptid? I'm unsure, so I Googled it and even looked at a book on cryptids and creatures in Arizona, but nothing. If anybody knows or has seen this thing, please help. Now, yeah, people on Reddit did reply, and so people said it's called the Black Stick Man.
Oh.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of this? Because I've never heard of this.
No. Never. Huh. He just got really, really, really jazzed to get across the street.
He's excited to run across the street.
I guess. I don't know. Running, gets across the street, then poof, he's gone.
Well,
he might. I don't know.
The cryptid wiki says it's a relatively recent phenomenon.
Oh.
People across the globe have been citing. It's like a two-dimensional, like pitch black being. So I don't know if they've seen like really flat too, like not 3D, not from this dimension, not from this world.
Well, I was thinking it sounds like it's something that is like phasing in from another. In my mind, I was like, oh, it's like another dimension creature that is trying to come into ours. It's like phasing into ours, but.
And not quite making it the whole way.
Exactly.
I'm thinking it might just disappear. You said it was a two-dimensional being. So maybe it just disappears because it turns sideways.
Right?
Right.
I mean, it doesn't fully disappear. It just turns sideways a little bit, and then poof, it's gone. Yeah, but if you're facing the other way, perpendicular, you're like, hey, I didn't see that before, but there's a dude right there.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess it's all perspective, I guess, huh?
Yeah, and then some people were wondering if it's a type of shadow person. There's been no reports yet that, at least I could find here on this little cryptid wiki, that it's attacked people. And no one said anything about it talking to them. But, I'd never heard of this. It sounds super creepy. Definitely not of this planet, this dimension.
Right.
Dave, any thoughts on it? I figured you'd probably call it Enderman.
No, I mean, yeah, I like the theory of the interdimensional being. Definitely something I want to check out more.
All right. Yeah, if anybody has seen this, let us know.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, totally. Wow.
All right. Moving on. It's time to jump to the main topic, which, as you know, is the West Virginia State Penitentiary. Again, going back down to West Virginia. West Virginia seems to have all the cards on all the weird.
Oh, yeah.
So now.
Never, ever, ever moving to West Virginia.
Right? Now, this topic idea came up over Halloween because whatever we were reading or looking at, it reminded me of that MTV show Fear.
Yeah.
I know, Lish, I know you've seen it. Dave Nash?
Nope.
I have not. It's not. I thought it was when they said Fear. I thought they meant Fear Fact. The Fear Factor with Joe Rogan, but it's something completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's MTV Fear, right? MTV
Fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ran from like 2000 to 2002. But what would they do was take like 5 kids. They had this camera, this really cool camera that pointed up right at their face. So you got a perspective of, the sense of fear and dread that they were experiencing being. What the concept was that they would give them missions. One of them would have to go down in the darkest depths of whatever haunted location and stay there for 15 minutes. And most of the fear actually was coming from just being by yourself in the most creepiest of places. But I always loved the show. And when we were looking it up, and the episode 1, the pilot episode, was at West Virginia State Penitentiary.
Yep.
And I was like, boy, and we watched a little bit, and it's like, boy, this looks terrifying. We should talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's how we arrived here.
Cool.
Well, do you want me to start?
Oh, go for it, please.
Okay. So the West Virginia State Penitentiary is also known as the Moundsville Penitentiary because it's located in Moundsville, West Virginia. Now, I would like to say it's brief, but it's not quite a brief history. It's a little bit longer than that. But I want to set up like there's a lot of crazy stuff that happened here, and I think why it's as haunted as it is because of its history. Okay. So I just wanted to start out and say that. After West Virginia seceded from Virginia at the height of the Civil War, they realized that they had a shortage of public institutions, including prisons. The governor of the state was repeatedly denied the funds to build one. So they were forced to send the prisoners either out of state or they had to use existing county jails. Of course, after 9 inmates escaped from one of the county jails, it was deemed imperative to resolve this. So 10 acres were purchased in Moundsville, and a design was chosen because it, and this is in quotes, it exhibited as much as possible great strength and conveyed to the mind a cheerless blank indicative of the misery which awaits the unhappy being who enters within its walls. Okay.
That's lovely.
I know. Well, it is a prison, so it's not like it's a hotel.
Just imagine that on your real estate listing when you go to list the place.
Right.
But I have to say, looking at the picture, like it's impressive.
It
is.
It's a good looking place.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't get dread looking at it. I mean, I'm sure I would if I went inside. But.
Yeah. Now, the construction of the first phase was completed in 1876, and they actually had prisoners that were helping to build it. You know, they were going to be incarcerated in there, and they're like, you can build it first. In addition to the construction efforts within the prison, there was a carpentry shop, paint shop, wagon shop, blacksmith, a tailor, a bakery, and a hospital, which the inmates helped run. Now, because of this, the prison was helped financially by this, and it became a very self-sufficient facility, so they didn't have to have a whole lot of funds to keep it running. Now, I do want to say that it's a gothic-style design, and it was similar to the facility that's in Joliet, Illinois.
Reference all the fans of the Blues Brothers movies.
Right. It had stone, it had turrets and battlements, but it was only like half the size of that facility. It has a parallelogram-shaped prison yard, and the stone walls are like 5 feet thick, and the foundation is 5 feet deep. Like, they wanted to make sure nobody could really get out of this place. Conditions during this time, they were good. But, of course, they worsened during the years, and the facility... I swear I haven't been drinking yet.
Maybe that's the problem.
I know. And the facility would be ranked in the top 10 most violent correctional facilities list. In 1929, they decided to double it in size due to overcrowding. For example, they had 2 people that would sleep in a bunk, plus a third on a mattress on the floor. And they finished construction with prisoner help by 1959, and it took so long because there was a steel shortage during World War II. In total, 36 homicides took place in the prison. On November 7th, 1979, 15 prisoners did escape, including Ronald Turney Williams. I don't know if you've heard his name before, but he stole a prison guard's weapon. He killed an off-duty state trooper, and he remained at large for 18 months. He would send... Go ahead.
Didn't they say that he drove by with the warden's wife or something like that?
Oh, I didn't see that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
That was one of the ways that he was able to get out. As either the wife came to visit. I didn't see the details, but it said he was seen driving by in a car with other prisoners and the warden's wife.
Interesting. He would also send.
That's a pretty bold move.
I know.
No, it was a state trooper and his wife were driving by.
Oh,
and
okay. So
the state trooper saw the escapees and tried to go after them.
Yeah.
And they pulled from his car and shot him.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So he also was sending like taunting notes to the authorities, basically like, haha, I'm away. He eventually was captured in 1981, and he is still in the West Virginia system to this day. The prison had been going through a lot of changes and problems. Security had become very loose in all areas. Most of the locks on the cells had been picked, and inmates would just roam the halls freely. There was bad plumbing and insects. It caused a rapid spread of various diseases. The prison was also holding over 2,000 men, and crowding was an issue. And on January 1st, 1986, many of the officers, they had called off work at that time because it was New Year's Day. 20 inmates, known as the Avengers, stormed the mess hall. Guards were taken prisoner and handcuffed. Thankfully, none of them were seriously injured, but there were 3 inmates that were basically executed by their fellow inmates because of snitching. So this was like a pretty big, one of the big riots, I guess. I don't know how long it lasted, but the prisoners negotiated with authorities to set up new rules and standards on which the prison would build, including a new cafeteria. Now, in 1986, the West Virginia Supreme Court ruled that the size of the cells constituted cruel and unusual punishment, and within 9 years, it was closed as a prison. So I think the riot kind of set things in motion for the Supreme Court to be like, okay, there's a problem here. From 1899 to 1959, 94 men were executed at the prison. They would do like hangings, and the hangings would actually be attended by the public until 1931. The last hanging the public could attend was of a man that ended up being accidentally decapitated when the trap door opened up.
Can you imagine that? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So at that point, they still let some of the public come in, but it was like family members that could see it. They had to be invited. Electrocution then became the means in 1951. Now, if you go on some tours, they also have the old electrocution chair, which is named Old Sparky, and you can actually see it when you're on the tours. They still have it there. So, to move on to hauntings.
Now, but the prison was built on what?
That was what I was just going to say. Hold on.
That was going to be my first thing. That's what I was going to do. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So it may be haunted because it is said that it is built on an ancient Native American burial ground.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
There
Moundsville...
are rules for that, you know.
Moundsville, I think it's named that because they had these giant mounds of...
burial mounds.
Yeah. And I think the prison is actually built like very near to one of the bigger ones, I think.
So that certainly doesn't set the right tone.
No.
For this, for this place to not be haunted.
Exactly. I think it kind of, it set the stage for like what could be here. Anyway, hauntings have been reported since the early 1930s. During this time, an inmate was often spied walking along a maintenance area where prisoners were not allowed. In some cases, the guards would set off alarms, but when they investigated, there was no one there, and no inmates were accounted for at that point. Now, there's a bunch of different rooms that are considered pretty haunted. The old recreation room in the basement called the Sugar Shack.
But you say it like, the Sugar Shack.
Yeah.
It was not a good place to be.
It was infamous for gambling, drug deals, rape, fighting, and murder. People that go down there, they report hearing unseen people arguing, talking, and whispering down there. Others have heard unexplained noises and felt cold spots within the room. In addition to the rec room, the whole basement area is said to be haunted by a maintenance man who once worked there. He was said to have often spied on the prisoners and was quick to report any news or infractions to the guards. In retaliation, he was stabbed several times with shivs when he was in the bathroom. After his death, this ghost was said to wander around the basement area, and some people have reported equipment malfunctions down there as well.
In the Sugar Shack, there was an inmate, R.D. Wall. Now, he got stabbed and cut up, mutilated. They found his body in many pieces later after the incident. So a lot of people think that he's down in the Sugar Shack haunting that area.
The North Wagon Gate, which is the prison's oldest structure, is said to be home to one of the prison's most active ghosts. This area once held the execution gallows where a man named Orville Adkins was hanged in 1938. Visitors say the area exudes an evil feeling, and they feel as if they're being watched. Mysterious sounds, voices have been captured in EVPs, and ghosts of the condemned are sometimes seen. The gate is said to be haunted by Orville Adkins. He was condemned for kidnapping a minister who was later found dead. However, his execution was botched. As the noose was being placed around his neck, a nervous assistant pulled the trapdoor handle too quickly, and Orville fell 20 feet to the stone walkway. Though he was stunned and hurt, he was still alive. He was then put back up on the scaffold and hanged correctly.
Oh,
yeah.
That sucks.
His footsteps are said to be heard slowly pacing back and forth.
Wow.
Oh man, that would really bite. You think you would you get the death sentence, say something happened, he tried to kill you, and for whatever reason you didn't get killed, that you should be like, hey, you know what? I'm good. That should fulfill the deal, you know?
The North Hall was where the prison's worst offenders were placed, not for the crimes they committed on the outside, but for their violent behavior on the inside. Though they were locked down in their cells for 23 hours a day, 2 murders occurred here. One was a biker named Danny who was stabbed in the eye by another inmate and died of his hemorrhages. Yeah. The other was a man named William Red Snyder who was convicted of murdering his parents and dismembering their corpses. Red was disliked by many inmates and involved in a number of fights. In the end, he was attacked in front of his cell and fatally stabbed 37 times.
Oh, my.
Yeah. The hall has been the site of many strange events, including photographic anomalies, equipment malfunctions, the sound of cell doors banging when no one is there. Many have reported feeling very uncomfortable there. Red Snyder's cell is said to be particularly haunted.
Oh, this just popped in my head for some reason. There was a famous psychopath that really, really wanted to be transferred to this penitentiary.
Oh, yeah. His name has dropped out of my head, but...
Well, let me give you some hints. Everybody listening, you might be able to get it from hints.
Yeah.
Helter Skelter.
Yeah.
He carved a swastika in his forehead.
Crazy Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Charles Manson petitioned to get transferred to this prison.
He wanted to be here really bad.
I'm thinking that a lot of the issues that happened now correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of the issues happened in this prison because they kind of put a blacksmith, they gave you all the tools to do all of these bad things and let the prisoners just kind of do it. I'm just thinking that maybe putting a blacksmith area inside a prison where they actually use keys made from iron and steel that you would find in a blacksmith's toolkit, it might just be a bad idea. I don't know. It's just me just thinking out loud. I don't know. I just think that if you're going to have a prison filled with people and murderers and killers and rapists, try not to give them the actual knowledge, tools, and probably time and education to actually create those things once again on the inside.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
they should have definitely had the gunsmith instead.
yeah, I know, right? I know. It's like, well, we're not going to show you how to make knives, but that rod sitting on the ground, don't sharpen the edge and wrap leather on the other side and stab somebody with it. It's a bad idea. Mm-hmm.
Everybody was seemed to be a master locksmith since they practically picked all the cell locks and were just roaming around at night whenever they felt like it.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, they can literally get like warm up a piece of steel, put it in the lock, and then they come out with it. And you can just keep trying. You've got years on your hand, blacksmithing tools, the steel, the iron, the way to create a freaking key. I might as well just tell them how to pack ammo and then make a gun. My goodness.
I wonder if that's why Charles Manson wanted to be transferred there.
Yeah,
possibly.
You're probably right.
But overcrowded cells, maybe he was thinking he could pick up, get people to follow him. Kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had seen one thing about that he wanted to. The official reason is he wanted to be nearer to his family, but it doesn't seem like. Why would you pick that prison? It seems like it had a reputation.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. If maybe he was also thinking that with all these people that can pick locks, he could escape.
Right. And the other things that I found about this place is that there were some really, some of the torture devices that they had in this place were just like archaic torture devices. The kicking Jenny and the shoe fly?
Yeah. I was going to bring that up after, but let's bring it up now. In 1886, there was the prison officials were exposed for hiding whips and other things to punish the inmates and everything. But there was a superintendent that resigned from the prison, and he did a tell-all interview. And he talked about them torturing inmates. They used a kicking Jenny and a shoe fly. And the kicking Jenny involved restraining the prisoners while they're nude, bending them over a machine and restraining them, and whipping them. Yeah, whipping them near
whipping
to death.
them. And it was like they were not just restrained, but they were restrained and like pulled a little bit. So it's like they would almost be pulled apart.
Yeah.
And what part was the Jenny that they were kicking?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why that name. They're totally like bound. I don't know why it would get that name. But
I don't know why, because it's in quotes. Kicking Jenny, that was the nickname or whatever. And then the shoe fly, it restrained the prisoner and sprayed them directly in the face with with something from the hose. Oh, so from water from the hose. Sorry.
Yeah,
that was misspelled. I'm sorry.
They like sprayed them.
Until they were almost dead as well.
With a high pressure fire hose type. Oh, yeah, that's intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, ice cold water, an inch from the face.
But can you imagine being? We've all had you've been in a pool and you've had been splashed with water, or accidentally got water in your eye and it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine getting a fire hose. Oh my gosh, a fire hose at full bore can almost lift a person off the ground.
Oh yeah, it takes several firefighters sometimes to keep a hold of the hose so it doesn't get out of control. There's a ton of pressure.
Oh my gosh,
right.
and getting that in your face?
Yeah.
It's kind of I can only imagine the gruesome what would happen when you turn that thing on,
So there's also a shadow man that people have spotted, and we saw something about a photo. Did you want to?
Yeah,
bring
it's a
that
very
up?
famous photo. It was taken by Polly Gear down this hallway. At the end of the hallway, you could see this shadow man, but you could see distinct features of the outline, the shape. It almost looks like you could reach out and touch it, but it's just all black. A lot of people were trying to debunk it, thinking it maybe was her shadow. And we watched a program where they tried to debunk it, but it definitely there's no way it was her shadow cast by the flash of her camera. But it's been like the source of a lot of people talking about this. Shadow Man's been seen several locations.
I know.
In this place.
But now the question I had on this Shadow Man is it's not the traditional what we've. I don't know. It was more of a question of, is this more like the traditional Shadow Man, like what you experienced, Mark, or like the Hat Man, or is this more like a ghost, a specter that's roaming around that is more it's just faint like a shadow? Do you know what I mean?
Right. Now, this one was not the Hat Man.
No.
It was a shadow person of some sort.
just walking around. I know. And that's because I was like, because if it was a hat man, then it's like, well, sometimes the eyes can be red, and there's some of the other things like wearing the hat and whatnot. But I guess when they say shadow man, I immediately think of like the category of a shadow man instead of just like a specter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, man. Look the picture up. It was taken by Polly Gear.
Yeah.
It's pretty. I mean, the outline of a human being.
Right.
It's very distinct. So couldn't only imagine getting back and going through your digital camera pictures and then seeing that. That would be intense.
So people that do go visit, they have seen apparitions. They've smelled unpleasant odors. They've heard strange noises and echoes. They felt like they've been watched. And they've also heard voices that say, "Help, I'm trapped." People have also felt like brushed or tapped, like touched by something unseen.
Wasn't there a guy who got like who felt like he was grabbed in the arm?
I believe so.
Was it a maintenance worker or something like that, or was doing something in the prison?
Yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of the maintenance people, I feel like they've always had issues like here and there with running into something in this.
Well, I guess, I mean, they're there in the off hours when it's dark and quiet and
right.
Just doing their job. I guess that they would be the ones to talk to, I guess. Huh.
Yeah. So inmate Roberts, he haunts his cell block and the room where he met his death. It's reported that his body is buried behind a wall.
Okay.
And some experts, they believe that there are over 100 ghosts that are still roaming this prison.
Yeah, that's a pretty active prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a story here because I was telling you guys about fear. So there's an article, I got this from Mental Floss, but they were interviewing the producers and directors of Fear and how they came up with the concept of this show, and they shot the pilot. So when they were doing a test run before they brought the kids in to shoot the pilot, the one producer, Alyssa Phillips, she had this to say: "I did a dry run with a walkie-talkie and a headset and no flashlight to test the directions we would give them. It's pitch black, and I'm being read the same instructions the kids will get the next day. So someone says, 'Climb up the ladder in front of you.' I got to the top and couldn't see anything. There is no light at all. Now I hear, 'Walk 3 paces forward' in my ear. So I was standing there and heard someone say, 'No,' but not in my ear. I vividly remember someone saying no. So I relayed back, 'I'm not doing this.' The next day, someone from the crew that was rigging said, 'Thank God you didn't do that.' It turns out there was an enormous trap door in that part of the prison where they put hay down for the horses. It was 10 or 15 feet wide. If I had proceeded 3 feet, I'd fallen to my death.'"
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Wow.
Goodness.
Yeah.
That's when you hear that no, and you're like, you know what? I'm not doing it. The lights are coming on. Hell, the lights are coming on right now.
So one of the spirits of the 100 saved her that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking when you were giving the story that the spirit was going to be, it didn't want her to stumble onto something, like do it for more nefarious reasons. But yeah, that's freaky.
Yeah, I mean, first off, just hearing a very distinct no in the pitch black. Mm-hmm. And you're like, that's not from my earpiece. I'm out of here. Only to find out the next day, had you taken those 3 steps? That's it.
You be dead.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong also, is that it's not just haunted by inmates, but there's a fair amount of guards that are still there. Not there, but they're haunting the place also. What I read that they could only tell by the outfits that they were wearing what they were doing.
Right.
Now we can only guess, but there's a lot of inmates there but that often they're seen actually guards walking up and down the halls in guard outfits.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe she got, maybe she was saved by one of the guards that's still there. Maybe. It was killed in a riot or something like that, or I don't know, but.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. This now, this is in West Virginia, so I don't know, 6-8 hours for us. Mm-hmm. They do tours, right?
Oh yeah, they have quite a few tours. They also have like Halloween events, and they have an escape room, which is like $25 per person. Takes about an hour and a half. They have a guided day tour. They have a public ghost hunt. They have a private ghost hunt, which you can have up to 20 people. It's a 6-hour private hunt, and it's $2,000 for that.
Whoa.
But it's just for the group, so each person would pay like $100
a group.
Yeah,
I mean a person. Yeah, that's not that would be so fun to organize a group hunt of that size. 6 hours is not bad, and I guarantee there's a brew pub nearby.
Oh yeah,
that we could hit afterwards and discuss, our experiences.
For sure.
So it's actually right now traffic is showing between 4 and 5 hours.
Okay.
Oh, that's
nice,
dude. We could get there if we left now. We could be there. Yeah, maybe 2021. Something we should set something like that up. That would be exciting, exhilarating, and frightening.
For sure.
At the same time, so, can't wait to get out and check out some of these things we talk about. Mm-hmm. Now, if that piques your interest and you want to learn more, we'll put all the sources for our discussion today in the show notes so you can go read and learn more. All right. Well, why don't we take a break, and we'll be right back with listener feedback, some listener stories, and some other crazy stuff. We'll be right back. And we're back. All right. It's time for some listener feedback. Oh, brought to you by Living Him on Bigfoot, the only book series about Bigfoot that dropped the 15th of every month on Amazon. Just go look it up. All right. Hey, kick things off with our Patreon shout-outs to John, Jonathan, Sarah Elaine, and Coulter. Thank you for joining the Patreon.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy what we got cooking over there. And let's see, we have our Creepy Cryptid series. Mm-hmm. We have the Ghost and Gastropubs. That's where we talk about a haunted location and a pub or brewery nearby. So you can go visit the haunted location and then go get a drink and food and talk all about it. It's like our little travel series. We have a D&D game we're playing right now called Terror at Huska Castle. Mm-hmm. And we have a new one we're kicking off called Dead Scripts Rise from the Grave. We dug up about a dozen scripts that I wrote back in the day that we never filmed. And we're going to read them and do them as an audio drama. Some scripts are okay. Some are not that great. But we're going to do it anyway. And hopefully it inspires us to actually make another short film. So, yeah, come over. Check it out on our Patreon. All right, here we go. We heard from Nicole. What would you guys say are some of your favorite or the best Halloween or scary movies or shows out there? Anywhere from family-friendly to up all night with every light on the house, kind of scary. I, myself, have my own list. I could share, but it's pretty long. And so anyway, she gave us top 5. Here is Nicole's top 5 favorite scary movies. Candyman, 28 Days Later.
Oh, good one.
The Lost Boys.
Always.
George Romero's Night of the Living Dead.
Nice.
And the Living Dead movies. And what about you guys? You have like top 5 favorite scary movies, Halloween movies?
Well, mine are a mix of scary and family friendly, but you can pick which ones you want. So I'm a big fan of The Lost Boys, always have been. Let's see, The Crow. It's not quite Halloween, but the whole concept behind it I liked. Let's see. The family friendly, The Shining. That I've always felt is one for the entire family to enjoy. Let's see. It's got the whole family, It's got the whole family in it.
For most of it.
Yeah, it's there. And there's even there's other people that show up all in Jack Nicholson's head. So that's okay. It's a whole group of people.
Okay.
I do like the original Alien movie. I feel that that's got a lot of really good jump scares in it. Let's see, a fifth one. Oh, geez. Now, when it comes to horror movies, one of the ones that I've liked is not really a horror movie, but it's kind of gory, is the movie, the original Cube. If anybody's seen the Cube, I mean, I think it's a great concept that you start off not really understanding anything. But again, it's gory and I like it. So yeah, here's my 5.
Thanks, dude. I don't know. I mean, I would throw in The Exorcist.
Yeah.
That's a scary one. Halloween movies. I love Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat, yeah.
Big fan of the original Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween. John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah, The Thing. I was like, what is the name of that? I thought that was a good one.
Dave, what about you?
So as you guys know, I'm not as much into the scary movie side of things, but a few stick out in my head. Jacob's Ladder, the mind games in that one I love. The original Halloween is definitely, that's one horror movie that I do like. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know some people really hate that movie, but I love the way the two different sides come together in that. And then the guilty pleasure movie is Resident Evil.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Has anybody ever seen the movie Return of the Living Dead? It's not like a sequel to Night of the Living Dead. It's its own thing. It's kind of like comedy, horror. I don't know, it's super fun movie from the 80s.
It reminds me of kind of, what was it, Saturday the 14th? The sequel to Friday the 13th?
I don't think I've ever seen that. That sounds like a Steve Guttenberg type movie.
It's exactly what it's campy. It's a comedy spinoff. It's comedy / horror kind of a thing. But yeah, it's kind of the exact same thing. After Friday the 13th got so popular, they're like, well, let's do a sequel. How about Saturday the 14th? And it's goofy fun, but yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
Well, thanks, Nicole.
Yeah.
Now it makes me want to go watch a few of those movies that you like. All right, we heard from Dab and Mike on Twitch. I mean, we're not on Twitch. He made this comment on YouTube. Dab and Mike on Twitch. Good show, guys. Wish the video was there for everybody. Been listening for a while. Anywho, your show and a show called OBDM Pod are my favorite. Lots of good paranormal there. Love the games. Thanks, Dab and Mike on Twitch. And you know what? Yeah, right now on YouTube, it's just a static image, and you can just listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
One day we would like to have video. But every time we tried to film, we have technical difficulties, and we lose footage, and stuff goes corrupt, and I think we need to get a better camera.
I think it's the nature of the beast when you have a paranormal show to have issues with cameras. Come on.
True.
It's part of the thing.
Oh, when you say it like that, yeah. It's just, we must always be filming in a haunted location, which I guess in this case, it was Dave's basement. Dave, did you know that?
Right. Yeah.
And the cameras that we're using, or sometimes we try to catch pictures of cryptids, and that comes out fuzzy, and sometimes not at all. I'm telling you, it's plagued with problems on the camera side.
Right, but sometimes I'm starting to wonder if the problems are the camera operator. But I like your theory that it's actually the paranormal messing with us.
Yeah, it's not an IO error. Don't worry about that. It's not an IO error. Couldn't be.
We heard from Christina, and she was excited that she won the gift box, the Paranormal Punchers El Yucateco gift box. She said, thanks, y'all. You seriously don't know how much this has made my day. The past few weeks have been hell. This has put the biggest smile on my face. Well, thank you for listening and supporting us on Patreon. I'm very happy we put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Definitely. Even though the answer is, the whole game was kind of skewed, rigged. I'm just saying.
Oh.
I'm just saying there was some tampering, some hanging chads. There was something going on there. I don't know.
That sounds like a challenge.
Dave and I had it.
Yeah.
Another game coming.
That's right. That's a challenge in the waiting.
And we heard from Gavin. Hey guys, your lone Kiwi listener here again. I'll admit it's been a while since I listened to the show. Thanks, COVID, not. But catching up again now. He's currently on episode 82. Stay safe and keep up the fun shows. Well, thank you, Gavin. And you stay safe. And hopefully catch up soon. All right. We heard from Coulter. Hey guys, I thought of a topic. So Montana is in the top states that has UFO sightings. There have been, they're seen, sorry, Coulter, I messed that up. They have been seen deactivating nukes at their Minuteman missile silos and other odd phenomenon around the good state. I hope this is a good topic for the podcast. Oh, we also have a lot of ghost towns and the highest suicide rate in the United States.
Yikes.
So, sorry about that, Montana.
Yeah.
But I know Dave's down for UFO sightings. Nash loves missile silos. Mm-hmm. So maybe we'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I would love to have a missile silo that you can convert into like a super cool underground home.
Yeah.
I've seen it before on like YouTube or something, but that would be so cool. Thanks for the topic idea, Coulter. We'll check it out. Let's see. We heard from Jim Wasaklo. I'm sorry about that, Jim. He left a comment on YouTube at our Matthias Schaumbach episode. Just wrote a novel on Matthias. Simon & Schuster, Stephen King's publisher. It's out anytime next week. I grew up at a mile north of the mountain. I have 2 radio interviews and a famous film producer looking into making a film from the book. Spoiler, all the things you talk about are in the novel, besides sausage treats. I am good at making. I have a good ham and bean soup, though. Thanks, Jim. Look forward to checking out that book and learning more about that topic. And boy, I hope you can get a film deal from your book. So, congratulations on writing a book because it's not easy.
No.
And the sausage treats, Nash. That's the infamous episode where you all but said you would eat a sausage made from human.
If you didn't know.
Oh, yeah. I guess if you were tricked.
And there was 6 sausages there, and you were or maybe 3 because 6 is a lot. And you're sitting down having your eggs, and one of them, after you get done eating it, somebody laughs and says, "Hey, that was made of humans. You already ate it, but you didn't know."
What if somebody jumps out from behind a curtain and tells you
with a hammer,
and you got like half a sausage left out of the 3?
Oh yeah, you would end up like having a what is it called, a reversal of fortune? When you're eating something and it would come right back.
I was just trying to see if I could trick you into saying, "Well, no, you got to finish the last sausage."
No. You would most likely stop right there and end up ralphing the rest right back up.
Yeah, and then you got to proceed to get up and go after the guy.
Yeah.
Take him to the
hopefully
authorities.
You kind of do it on the floor so it's slippery. So when he comes at you with a hammer, he slips on it. Just saying.
Okay.
Because isn't that what happened? They were behind the hammer and they came out with a hammer to kill him, and then they. I'm thinking something else.
No, that's the Bloody Benders.
Oh, I'm confusing the two.
I can see how you had that happen. All right. We heard from G4757575. Still a 5-star in Apple, but G4's had this to say. Guys, I'm a longtime fan of your podcast. I love all the paranormal and extraterrestrial stuff, and normally you guys do awesome shows. But what happened with the last podcast? I think it is podcast number 100. I was hoping for maybe some stories or some research you guys did, maybe some UFOs or paranormal stuff, but you gave us the whole podcast of you guys playing some boring game. Come on, guys. We still love you, but please get back on track. Well, G-Force, I think, is this Gilbert? I think he said one time his name was Gilbert, if I'm wrong. G-Force. Sorry you didn't like our game show episode.
Yeah.
We thought it would be fun, and I certainly love playing games and doing trivia. But I guess it's not for everybody. So hopefully you like this episode, since we were talking about a scary prison. And lastly, we have Scott T. Just wanted to give a huge birthday shout out to the United States Marine Corps. Their birthday is November 10th, which is, the day the episode drops. Was in 1775. Is November 10th, 1775 is the official birth date of the U.S. Marine Corps.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah,
Happy
I didn't.
birthday.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. If you want to send us feedback, just go to paranormalpunchers.com. You'll find all the ways to contact us. All right, we got 2 listener stories here. And let's see, Dave, take it away.
Okay. Hey, guys. Still listening to every show, and I enjoyed the trivia episode. My name is actually Peyton Tanner. And
let me jump in.
I enjoy.
Sorry, Peyton. Yeah, because on the last episode, I referred to him as P. Tanner 2021. And I think I called him Tanner within the context. So he's just correcting me, letting us know his real name is Peyton. Hey, Peyton.
And as you know, I enjoy the paranormal and the show. I'm super grateful for you guys reading my review on the show. I do have a quick paranormal story from a friend. He lives out in the country, and he lives with his parents and his older brother. One night, while getting a drink of water, he saw what he said was a Wendigo inside his house.
What?
On his way back to his room, he said he looked up and saw it in his living room in the corner. My friend was standing in his dining room when he saw it across from him in his living room. He said he froze with fear when he saw it, and when he walked around the table after a moment, it was out of view. And when he came back around cautiously to the living room, he said it was gone. He further said it was tall and lanky with glowing eyes. The reason I know it was a possible Wendigo was because he actually told me to look up Wendigo and said it looked just like that. Thanks, guys, and keep up the great work.
Wow.
Thanks, Peyton. And I'm pretty sure I'd be putting that house on the market
Right.
if a Wendigo managed to, open up the back door, come in and just be, creeping around my living room.
Right. Oh,
I would have trouble going back to sleep after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be terrifying. They're huge.
Huge, scary, and they like to eat humans.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing apart. There are no parts of that says, let me just lock the doors, get a new deadbolt. It won't happen again. No. It's time to leave.
And I guess, do you have to divulge that information when you're selling the house?
I don't think so, because
it depends
there's no
on the
damage
state.
or hauntings or anything like that affecting the house itself.
This is a beautiful home. Great price.
Mm-hmm.
Comes with Wendigos.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you get to experience the wildlife up close and personal.
Yeah, no, that would be terrifying. I'm not sure I'd ever sleep again.
Yeah, I would definitely have a hard time.
That's when you sell the house and move into like a high-rise apartment building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, what if the Wendigo gets in there?
Oh, boy.
You look outside, he's posing as a window washer. He's just outside your window. Squeak.
With a hat on and a vest and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
The Wendigo window washing team. Trademark.
Okay. Yeah, that's got people are going to flipping, on the internet looking for someone to wash their windows. Like, oh, this company, the Wendigo Washers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Right.
He could reach the second floor without having to get scaffolding or anything like that. I mean, he works for just an arm and a leg. You don't really need to, pay him much. If there's a small dog running around, he could just grab that. It's a trade-off,
Okay. All right. Well, so Nash and I still don't go down this road too far. Nash is going to read a story from David Thompson.
Okay. Hey, guys. Love the show. Just heard episode 100. the not Jeopardy, but yeah, it's Jeopardy show. You should have told Nash and Dave you were playing. I'm sure they would have loved to join in.
Oh, that's rude.
I've got a life experience to share with you guys. Back in my younger years, myself and a few friends would go down to a local haunted Civil War era church, Souls Chapel. It was a small Methodist church where the congregation split due to conflicting opinions of the Union and Confederate causes. A new reverend soon took over the church in its weakened state and brought him some new members. Legend has it he brought the occult into his sermons. Oh my God, his sermons. Let me start over.
You got this.
Legend has it he brought the occult into his sermons as well. Soon, surrounding farmers began missing chickens and pigs. Not long after that, parishioners were asked to make a greater sacrifice, their own children. This request was the last straw. Word got around, and one Sunday morning, a mob formed at the church doors. They hung the reverend from the rafters, accusing him of witchcraft. Flash forward a couple hundred years to myself and some friends going out to Souls Chapel to scare the girls with us and make a mundane night a little more interesting. We'd been there several times and never had anything more than a raccoon or bat serve as our would-be ghosts. The last time it was different. I was standing by the car when my buddy Ray came at a full sprint to the passenger side yelling, "Go, go, go," followed by Kyle, whose face was expressionless and pale. We piled into the car and Kyle threw gravel as the tires got traction on the old road. The girls screamed as they tried buckling their seatbelts while looking out the back window. I turned to see what all the commotion was, thinking my friends were just getting the girls riled up. And then I saw it. A figure in a black suit standing in contrast beside the white church. As we passed by it, at what seemed like a snail's pace, it floated towards us. Not walk, float. Its feet above the ground. It passed through gravestones and barbed wire like there was nothing. Or maybe it was nothing. It stopped by the end of the church property along the row of unkept brush and weeds. I never saw its face. It was shrouded in darkness. Only the outline of the jacket and the shine of the buttons in the moonlight were clearly discernible. We didn't speak until we got back home. All of us with the same experience, finishing each other's sentences because we all saw the same thing. That experience is still clear as day to me, and I lean more to the skeptical side of things. But I cannot explain what we went through that night. Keep up the awesome show. Putting skin for the win. Also,
For the win.
Also, just FYI, your advertising works. After hearing so much about El Yucateco, After hearing so much about El Yucateco hot sauce, I grabbed a bottle of the Black Label yesterday to give it a shot. Love it.
All right.
That's good stuff.
Thanks, David. That story alone, I'm extremely interested in. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about him seeing the specter or whatever it was. Just the new pastor coming in and bringing a cult with him, and they was doing sacrifices. That I went and looked that story up. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But also what he saw would be terrifying.
Yeah, having something float towards you for any reason whatsoever, it's time to boogie.
Yes, you're correct.
Oh, it's in Mississippi. Okay. I was trying to figure out where Souls Chapel was. I was looking it up real quick. It's in Mississippi.
Man, I feel like we got to put that on a list to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Anything else? Well, if you want to send us a story, go to paranormalpunchers.com. You'll find all the ways to reach out to us. And we love to hear from you.
Yep.
All right. Guys, it's been great to talk about the West Virginia State Penitentiary with you. Sounds like a creepy spot, and now that Dave looked it up, it's close enough that we have no excuse.
Right.
We could go check that out for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Oh, there goes the dog barking.
Just during the day.
Yeah.
Just during the day.
Oh, it's never an episode without the dog barking.
Oh, God.
Thanks, dog.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you.
on that note, if it's not weird,
It's not worth checking out.